Good morning. Welcome to the Community Review on Hot 92.3. I'm Josefa Salinas, your host. It's Women's History Month. We are celebrating profiles in life and success. Amazing women who do amazing things, amazing women who tell amazing stories. We've got one of them on the phone with us right now. Sue Macy is the author of Wheels of Change, How Women Rode the Bicycles to Freedom, with a few flat tires along the way. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning. Great to talk to you.
Well, it's great to talk to you, too. So Wheels of Change, let's talk about that. Where did you get the inspiration for this book? And were they literally riding bikes?
They were riding bikes. Part of the inspiration came from my riding a bike, I guess, because I used to ride bikes, when I was younger and when I was in college, and then I put my bike away. And a couple of years ago, I decided to enter a triathlon at the age of 50-something. And I got my bike out of the garage and cleaned it up and realized, oh, my God, this still feels great. It gives you a sense of your surroundings that you just don't have in doing any other thing. So I started being more of a bike proponent, I guess. And then I remembered that I write about women's sports history a lot, and I remember seeing a quote by Susan B. Anthony from 1896 that said, "Let me tell you what I think of bicycling. I think it has done more to emancipate women than anything else in the world." And when I thought about that quote, I understood it from the point of view of a person riding a bicycle, but I wanted to know whether that was panned out in history. So I started researching, and I also found Frances Willard, who was the head of the Women's Christian Temperance Union in the 1800s, and in 1893 she wrote a best-selling book about the epiphanies she had while she was learning to ride a bicycle at age 53.
Wow.
So here you had these two feminist leaders talking about the bicycle and how important it was to them. So
Amazing.
I figured there must be a story.
So hence the book.
Hence the book, yes. And the more I dug, the more amazing things I found. I found stories about women racers who were never, not remembered at all, but they were amazing athletes who did these marathon races and raced against each other and against men on bicycles. And, lots and lots of stories.
It's so funny. When I look at a bike in my life, I remember when my daughter was very, very young and I couldn't find a job. So I decided to take a job cleaning houses. Okay. I've already been college educated, but I'm going to have to clean houses. And I didn't have a car at that point, and I rode a bike to get to the jobs that I went to. And that's how I got there. That's how I provided for my daughter. I rode a bike and cleaned houses.
Yeah, well, the bike, it's still today is a wonderful means of transportation. The foreword to my book was written by a woman who started an organization called World Bicycle Relief, and they actually make bicycles available to people in Africa, in villages, kids and adults who don't have any other means of transportation. And because of the bicycles, there's a story in the foreword about a girl who, because of the bike, is able to do her chores and get to school on time. And otherwise, she wouldn't be able to go to school because if she didn't have the bicycle, she wouldn't get to school, before it was over.
Wow.
So it's still an amazing vehicle. So, and it's great because it's a situation where something from history is still very meaningful today, and you can make the leap from the 1890s to 2011 and understand the importance of this piece of machinery.
So how do you think it impacted social change and then fashion?
Okay, well, social change in those days when men and women courted, often the gentleman would come over and sit in the parlor with his girlfriend, with the parents sitting there, supervising the interaction. Once the bicycle became popular and women embraced the bicycle, they could get on their bikes and ride and meet whoever they wanted to, wherever they wanted, without their parents. And their parents were sort of gave in to this new rage, and so women were more free to socialize with the people they wanted to. As far as fashion, there were bicycles. As you know, the bicycle that traditionally is ridden by women even today has a scooped out front instead of the bar across. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even realize when I started writing this that was supposed to be for the ladies' skirts, because ladies could not ride on a bike with a bar across it because all of their petticoats and skirts wouldn't fit correctly. Oh. So they came up with this adaptation. But even so, the heavy skirts and petticoats and the corsets that women used to wear, which constricted their internal organs to the point where they could barely breathe, it became obvious that these weren't going to work in physical activities such as riding a bicycle. So slowly the fashion began to change. Women stopped wearing corsets. They stopped wearing heavy petticoats. They brought back bloomers, which had been popular in the 1850s, until there was a backlash because men and I guess some women felt that women should not wear what were essentially pants. They were kind of knickers or billowy pants. So they fell into disuse, but in the 1890s, suddenly they became the perfect garment to wear while riding a bicycle. So bloomers came back, divided skirts, and fashion never went back. You know, women never embraced those heavy skirts. They used to wear these skirts that would pick up all the garbage from the ground because they were so heavy and thick that you'd come home and there'd be animal droppings and cigar butts. So fortunately, the bicycle ended that.
So that darn bike is what, I'm sure men are saying, that darn bike is what put women in pants.
Yeah, I know. All those, I like the change.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, you look at what people wear today, and they're basically wearing a second skin sometimes. The things are so tight. But that didn't happen until more recently.
All right. Well, the book is called Wheels of Change, How Women Rode the Bicycle to Freedom with a Few Flat Tires Along the Way, by Sue Macy. Sue, thanks for writing such an entertaining book. It's a fun read. You will really enjoy adding this one to your library. And when you write another book, you make sure you come back and see us.
I absolutely will. Thanks very much.
All right, Sue. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Well, March is Women's History Month. I like to pick amazing women to talk to or talk about or, just engage in conversation with and debate with. Well, today we've had a couple of amazing women here. One woman who, like me, went through an amazing journey in 2006. She got together with a friend who's a writer, and they came up with a story called Sign of Life. With me on the phone, Hilary Williams and MB, or Mary Beth Roberts. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's start with the person who went through this just unbelievable life-changing event in 2006, Hilary Williams. Hilary, tell us a little bit about what happened to you in 2006.
Well, my sister and I were headed to my grandfather's funeral in Louisiana, and I just glanced down for a second to change my iPod, and there were bad ruts in the road, and it shifted us into, there was real thick gravel on either side of the road. It shifted the car into the gravel, and I lost control and jerked the wheel real hard. We went across the highway. One of the wheels came off. We skidded and then flipped in the field 4 times.
Whoa.
And, yeah.
Obviously, you made it through, but 23 surgeries later?
Yes. I lost 6 pints of blood. My blood pressure was 55 over nothing. I died briefly at the scene, and then they gave me this thing called polyheme that brought me back to life. It's like a synthetic blood, and then they life-flighted me to the hospital.
Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I remember most of it. I remember when I lost all that blood, I had lost my vision. I thought I was permanently blind, but I broke my collarbone, ribs, pelvis, back, tailbone, my hips, shattered my right femur, and had a compound fracture, and my colon ruptured.
Good grief.
And I'm a type 1 diabetic. I went to ketoacidosis. Second day in surgery, I got a blood clot in they said I almost died again, but I'm still here.
Well, there must be a darn good reason why you're still here. Maybe
Yes.
it was to write this book. Now, let's talk about what that was like, making it through that. And Mary Beth, feel free to jump in anywhere in here. Now, you helped Hilary write this book. Is that correct?
I did. I'm a writer, and we met through mutual friends, and Hilary was kind of about 2 years out of the accident when we met and was still walking with a cane, and I couldn't believe what she had been through. You know, we all whine about, you know, a cold or getting up in the morning and having to go to the gym, and just really what she was so quietly going through. Everybody, her mom who took care of her and her friends just you know, constantly said, nope, she just doesn't complain. And she just had this quiet determination, and we just really, really wanted to tell the story. So I helped her to do that. But it's all her.
So, Hilary, if you don't mind me asking, because I like to ask people this, when you were lying there and you realized that you were pretty severely injured, what was going through your head?
Well, I actually didn't realize how bad my injuries were, I think, which was kind of a blessing. I was just so knocked out of it, but once I came to, I was just kind of like, why did this happen to me and everything? But, you know, I got over that, and I just tried to stay focused and determined, and I didn't want to be in a wheelchair the rest of my life, and they didn't know if I would walk again, but I'm walking, and, you know, I just tried to keep a positive attitude and just stay focused on my goals that I wanted to accomplish.
I remember reading that when you were like recovering, that there was one of those awful National Enquirer people trying to, like, you know, get something on you or the family, because you come from a pretty famous family.
Yes.
Hank Williams Sr., Hank Williams Jr., grandfather and father?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you come from a real famous family then. What was the National Enquirer doing? I mean, what was the joy of chasing you?
I don't know. They tried to get pictures of my sister and I both, and the guy showed up at the hospital and stole a badge, but his badge didn't match the floor, so they stopped him. But I mean, I don't know why they wanted to get pictures.
That's awful. They were just hoping for a photo of you in the hospital?
Yeah, I guess so.
Jeez, isn't that just something?
Mm-hmm.
How people are searching for tragedy?
I know.
It was difficult enough for his family, and I'm sure that you know, paparazzi wanted to get a picture of Hilary's dad, who was there the whole time, or her beautiful mom, just you know, and they had enough to deal with. But thankfully, I think the hospital in Memphis did a real good job, as far as what Hilary told me, you know, keeping everybody under control.
Yeah, my dad had to sneak out back doors, and because news crews would show up and paparazzi, like camping outside the hospital. And then we had people show up trying to come see Holly and I that said they were related, and we didn't know who they were. So it was kind of crazy there for a bit.
Wow. Yeah, it's something. People can be really, really cool when you're, you know, injured or hurt like that. I remember when I had my brain tumor in 2006, when I woke up in ICU, then I think it was a couple days later, they took me down to my regular room, and the nurse walked in and she said, "Who are you?" And I said, "Excuse me, what did you say?" And she goes, "There were so many flowers delivered here that we had to take them to other floors."
Oh my
And it was
God.
all my listeners who were just sending in flowers. And so I sent them down to all the different floors in the hospital because there was too many in my room. But that's a sign of people doing something cool.
Oh, yeah.
Now, following you and trying to get a photograph of your dad, who I'm sure must have just been devastated, because I know when my father walked in and saw me in the ICU, I've never seen my dad look like that ever in my life.
Yeah.
It was this total helplessness. How about your dad?
Yeah, the same thing. Every time I woke up, he just had his head down, and he was sitting in a chair holding my hand, and, you know, he just looked so distraught.
So how did you get through this? 23 surgeries to repair yourself. Now, that I'm sure is over a course of time.
Yeah, it was over a course of 2.5 years. But a lot of the surgeries were like within a year, you know. Just a lot of prayer and, you know, relying on God to pull me through, and friends and family, and my mom and dad and sister were just encouraging, saying, "You're going to get through this." And my dad said, "You're going to come out better than ever and stronger." And, you know, he had his own tragedy with the mountain fall, and he shouldn't be here, and he came through that and everything.
Yeah, because it was quite some time before that he was on a mountain and fell, right?
Yeah, his was in 1975, and he fell 500 feet. And, yeah, his brains came out, his eyes, his teeth. The doctor didn't think he would live.
Wow.
And he laid on a mountain for 10 hours before the life flight could come and get him.
Well, it sounds like the Hank Williams family is pretty darn strong.
Yes.
What do you think it is that gets your family through so that maybe you can give some inspiration to some other families that might be going through something? What do you do? How do you pull together?
Well, my mom's always been a strong Christian and strong in her faith, and she just said, God, I know what your will is going to be for Hilary, and if she's going to be okay, please let her live, and if she's not, then take her. And, I just prayed a lot and read the Bible and just, relied on God to get me through.
And from what I saw, Hilary was so determined to be well again. It's just like had that vision in her head, just that I'm, no one thought she would walk again, let alone not walk without a cane or crutches or some sort of help. And if you saw her walk across the room right now, you would never know. You're like, why does this girl have a handicap sticker? She's got all this metal in her body, and she hides it very well, and it's painful, but it's just her vision to be better and to be so grateful for being alive.
Yeah, I actually did a fashion show 2 months ago for a charity, and I used to do modeling when I was a teenager, and that was so cool to walk down that runway. And then I'm doing another charity event here in Nashville. It's like a Dancing with the Stars. I'm learning the tango, and it's just so awesome. I'm getting to do things that I didn't think I would be able to, but I'm doing now.
And what do you hope that people get out of your book when they read Signs of Life?
I just, want them to not give up hope and just to keep purging forward and, listen to their physical therapist or whoever and just, do what they tell them to do. And I think it'll definitely help them. My physical therapist said, she's like, you did so well because you listened to everything I told you to do and followed the rules. And, I was getting shopped around for a record deal before the accident happened. I wanted to be on the stage again and sing, and so I just kept that goal in mind.
And are we singing again?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah. She has a wonderful song, "Sign of Life," about that came out concurrently with the book, and it's on iTunes, and it's beautiful. And that was one thing Hilary was afraid of during the accident, was with all the tubes and everything, not being able to sing the same way again. And everybody says she sings even better. She had to come back from that too, exercise and practice, and it's really great. It's something to see.
Yeah, I couldn't sing for 6 months because all the breathing tubes just completely shot my voice. And but yeah, people say now that I sing better than I did before.
Well, I'm going to make sure we get a little clip of that song and play it here at the end of this interview. And it's right there on iTunes. The book is called Sign of Life. I'm sure you can get that in any bookstore. You can get it online at all of our favorite online bookstores. Sign of Life by Hilary Williams. Her dad, Hank Williams Jr., wrote the foreword in the book. Her grandfather, it's grandfather, right? That's Hank Williams Sr.?
Mm-hmm.
So that must have been kind of cool growing up in a musical family.
Yeah. I didn't know my grandfather because he died at 29, and my dad was 3 when he passed. But, yeah, it was great. My dad would come over and play the guitar, and we'd all sing, and that was a lot of fun.
Well, Hilary, best wishes to you. Thank you for being such a profile in life and success. Coming back from a tragedy like an accident like that, I'm sure that this book is an inspiration to anybody who's going through anything in your life that you don't see the end of the tunnel yet. Keep going, because remember, it's always darkest right before the dawn.
Yep.
Right before it's getting ready to turn and get better is when you think you cannot take one more step. And at that point, you take a deep breath and you take that step. Right, Hilary?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today. Sign of Life is the name of the book by Hilary Williams. Sign of Life is the name of the song. You can get that on iTunes. It's a story of family, tragedy, music, and healing. Congratulations to you, Hilary, and to Mary Beth, the writer who helped her write it. Both of you two ladies are an amazing profile in life and success.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, Hilary, take us out of here with a little bit of Sign of Life.
And there was waiting, so the world could understand. When the universe collides, there's not always a plan. Maybe pain is a sign of life. A little blessing for a little strife. It's something we have to find to give us meaning.
Sometimes pain is exactly what we need to let us know we're alive. Thanks, Hilary. What an incredible song. There's more coming up on the Community Review, so you stay close to Hot 92.3.